Now that Prince Jace is dead, alongside his dragon, the Blacks have taken a fatal blow, and Rhaenyra is the one that feels it the most. I'm Violence Milk, and like last week, I'm gonna go in chronological order. First, we see the outcomes of the Battle of the Gullet, and I'm wondering if the producers made a mistake, because we see 3 dragons. If I'm not mistaken, Vermax, Jace's dragon, was killed and drowned. So, we are left with Ship Stealer and Moon Dancer. So, who is that third dragon? Let me know in the comments if I missed something. Jace is brought back to the castle and Rhaenyra is in complete denial. I mean, she's completely right. Jace was impulsive and he may have saved the Velaryons by burning the enemy ships. I feel like his death could have been avoided, but again, he was already erratic. There was no coming back. Rhaenyra snaps. She falls into a deep depressed state and orders not to be seen. Then we see the end of the Battle of the Gullet, with the Velaryons as winners. Alicent screaming for his dad, and honestly bro, I was like, same. Corlys is one of my favorites and I really wanted him to live. And thankfully, he does live. He's found in the shore almost unconscious. Once he regains his strength, he finally gives his sons a name. Rhaena has the balls and the audacity to go with Lady Arryn. After what happened in the Vale and the mini dragons, she goes there to ask asylum since she can't go back to Dragonstone. She's basically stranded with her wild dragon, which I'm guessing is gonna destroy something in the Vale, and Lady Arryn is gonna regret letting them stay. The Starks feast after the victory over the Lannisters, which they have their heads on a spike during the party. Daemon is then interrupted by Simon Strong, the head of Harrenhal. He delivers the news on Jace's death. Daemon quickly gives order to his men and flees to Dragonstone to meet with the queen. But before he goes, he meets with the Harrenhal witch, giving him a cryptic message. Was she talking about how Daemon's death is coming, or the events of the Song of Ice and Fire are falling into place? Aegon and Larys are going in the enemy cart, and as I predicted last week, they get deviated by a surprise ambush on their kidnappers, allowing them to escape. Not before Aegon gets a quick kill, of course. Now they're going to Rook's Nest, which if I remember correctly was the place where he was burned down. As Alicent makes sure King's Landing is as safe as possible for a quick and peaceful taking, Daemon arrives at Dragonstone and meets the queen. Rhaenyra now realizes, and even says so herself, she lost her children just for a throne. She feels betrayed by everyone around her, so it's only natural that she proceeds with the plan. She's not going to let her children die in vain. She rides only with her husband. Alicent makes a deal with the leader of the Golden Cloaks, Sir Luthor, knowing how he and his men are still loyal to Daemon. He was, after all, the one who gave Luthor his cape. Following Alicent's plan, Aemon arrives at Harrenhal and immediately starts blazing fire without hesitation. He's dropping bodies like a Dark Souls Black Knight. He then arrives to the dining hall and meets with the Strongs, exactly the same as when Daemon did it. Literally the same. However, Aemond is way colder and kills them all. But wait, one of the sons managed to stab him in the back, and it actually is a fatal wound. I don't know why, but I was so happy for some reason. Aemond is now at the hands and mercy of the witch, which she also is an excellent healer. Now she's getting Harrenhal after saving the king, ditching Daemon. Now, is she gonna just heal him, or is she gonna put some sort of control over him and possibly make him more crazy than he already is? I'm not a book reader, so if you know, let me theorize. If you like this kind of breakdown and theories, subscribe to the channel. I'm making a weekly video on the latest episode. Anyway, the Blacks arrived to King's Landing, and I wouldn't call this an invasion since they're technically invited by most. They still get some enemies in front, and we see Daemon in combat. He's so brutal and doesn't even break a sweating out. What was it? 1v5? He's insanely talented with the sword. After they reach the throne room, with the final opposition being the King's Guard commander, they feel surrounded. But once they see the Gold Cloak's loyalty to the Blacks, they surrender. It really only takes one for the others to follow. Then, as Rhaenyra takes the throne, Otto Hightower, Alicent's father, is brought to get executed as an example. We didn't know anything about him since last season. Turns out, he was being captive all this time. Rhaenyra is seen to be hesitant, very emotional, and even scared to do this. Daemon knows what must be done and really pushes her to do it. Once it's done, Alicent is captured on her escape attempt and sees what her friend has done after the deal they made. Alicent is feeling betrayed. This wasn't part of the plan. But I mean, no one aside from the Dungeon Keeper and Larys knew Otto was there. So what will happen? Is Alicent gonna plan something against Rhaenyra? I know she must feel hatred after this. Is Rhaenyra gonna let them escape? Or is she gonna make an example out of them too? They're on the throne room with all the people watching after all. Let me know in the comments what you think. See you next week.